around a 20% move for Bitcoin in the last 5 days. That's what I'm talking about. That's pretty good. We like to see that on the daily chart, no matter if we're in a bull market or bear market. But here's the thing. We're in a bear market. We're in this bear market formation. So I think people enjoy it a little bit more when there's some hopium on these charts. Bitcoin trying to climb out, prove itself to the world in terms of its strength. But there's a lot tying into this story right now. There's a lot tying into why Bitcoin is even up on the daily chart. We're going to talk about that. Before we even dig into what is surrounding this situation with Bitcoin and these charts, I actually want to break down some of these charts and just from a charting perspective, describe why I think Bitcoin right now entering some rocky waters right now, today, and why we should be very aware of, even just from a charting perspective, where Bitcoin is. So a couple areas I want to break down for you. First is obviously this entire rectangle area. I want to start with the green rectangle. This green rectangle is very simple. It is a lower high area from the last swing high in August, mid-August, around a month ago, almost a month ago, to this swing low that we just had not too long ago, beginning of September. And it's this Fibonacci. It's this pullback retracement area. It's one of my favorite indicators. I know I say that all the time, but it's Bitcoin kind of seeing a swing high to a swing low and retracing back up to, in this case, a resistance area. And so often for Bitcoin, we see, and crypto in general, we see this area kind of act as resistance. And it's a 618 area right around 22,700 to a 786 area around 23,800. That's an area of resistance, a lower high resistance. If just put aside everything else going on with other data, off-chain data, real-world data, equity markets, inflation, all of this, rising interest rates, put it all aside. If we're just tracking Bitcoin charts, everything's just trading as normal, this area is a resistance area we should be aware of, especially as Bitcoin's in a bear market and Bitcoin's trying to escape, right? These are the areas, and this is a daily chart. It's not extraordinarily zoomed out, but it's a daily chart, and it's a more midterm chart, and this is a big area of resistance for Bitcoin. So if you're looking for bullish sentiment, if you're looking for bullish confirmation and bullish momentum, this needs to be broken first, in my opinion. That's why oftentimes I say, be careful. I did a video at the end of last week and I said, be careful. And I know that's not the most popular opinion, but these are the reasons why I have that type of sentiment, especially in the middle of a bear market where historical Bitcoin charts tell us, hey, we could be here for a while. We could even go lower. So it's like, if we're not even getting these midterm bullish confirmations like this Fibonacci right here being broken and Bitcoin closing daily candles above, I'm not going to even start talking, bullish targets and bullish sentiment too much. That's just not my style. So I like to be careful. I like to play it cool, especially in bear markets where it's just like patience. That's the name of the game for me. So I'm waiting. It's an unemotional waiting game. It's just watching. And so Bitcoin is getting close to that area actually right now to test this area. And again, that goes up to the 786 around 23,800. Now, getting rid of that, right? We have that there, it's sitting there, but kind of a larger area of general resistance that I'm looking for Bitcoin is this. We remember Bitcoin was in this rising channel back here that it fell out of. Well, it's kind of like those trend lines are still alive to me. So this lower trend line that Bitcoin fell out of is kind of just steadily just above Bitcoin, just in that $25,000 range up here where the top of this blue rectangle is. And then the bottom of the blue rectangle is an important part. It's not only resistance, but it's an important part of this general midterm story for Bitcoin. It's the 50-day moving average you see here in blue. So that's kind of where it is right now. Bitcoin has broken above it. This is a great sign for Bitcoin. We want to see that happen, especially after it kind of fell below it back in August, kind of came down, broke back above the 20, back above the 50. It's what we want to see. But it's this story of higher high and higher low support above these moving averages. That's really what we want to see. So now that Bitcoin is above it, at least right now on the daily chart as I do this video, we want to see it stay above it. So the bottom of this blue rectangle, and obviously this is going to change, right? If Bitcoin keeps moving up, the blue moving average is going to also start moving up. But in general, this rectangle, the blue line, and now this 50-day moving average blue line, we want to see Bitcoin see support, hold support above that area. And we ultimately want to see the 20-day get pulled up and cross above the 50-day moving average, all the while Bitcoin breaking through this entire resistance area, the choppy water area. So that's what we need to see for Bitcoin. Could we see Bitcoin see a bit of resistance here at the Fibonacci in green, and then the 50-day kind of getting pulled up a little bit and maybe support and then a bounce up? We could see something like that. Maybe we don't even get the breakout until October, but that's all speculation. But these are the areas I'm watching on the Bitcoin chart. If we go over here to the weekly chart, you can just see Bitcoin has not even broken back above the 200-week moving average. That's right around $23,300 or so. So another $1,000 move for Bitcoin before it's testing that area. And just above that area, the 20-week moving average. We're on the weekly chart. So it's a 200-week moving average in red, the 20-week moving average in green, Bitcoin right above in that general area too, around 24,000. So you can see that weekly chart, and then you can see this chart on the daily. Bitcoin's really entering this resistance area, and we just want to be mindful. Now let's step outside of all of that, everybody, because outside of just the Bitcoin charts, wow, there's a lot going on. There's so much going on in the month of September. But even right now, if we go over here, this is the US dollar currency index, just like any other equity index. This is being traded, and you can see, and this is kind of the concern, I would say. It obviously topped out here, and this was, September 5th or so, 5th or 6th. And then now it's come back down, and this is why we're seeing Bitcoin rally. This is why we're seeing Bitcoin in the last 5 days do pretty well. It's basically this chart. And if we see this chart on the rise, we usually see Bitcoin falling. If we see this chart falling, we see Bitcoin rising. So that's what's happening. But the concern here is right now this is putting in a higher low. It's cooled down here on the US dollar currency index. It's putting in a higher low and it's getting ready for a move to the upside. So this is kind of a chart that we need to watch, especially as Bitcoin, if this chart does move to the upside, as Bitcoin is hitting this choppy water resistance area, you want to be careful. You want to be mindful and aware. All right, it's nice what's happening on the Bitcoin chart. And I did this last week, but it's just like, let's zoom out. Like we get moves like this all of the time on Bitcoin, in bull markets, in bear markets. Let's not get overly excited. There's been no macro bullish indicators that have broken really on this chart, and it's not been just crazy bullish. I don't think Bitcoin has put in that bullish confirmation on the macro where we can really start getting too bullish. That's why I take this approach. Now, the other thing is obviously S&P 500 index. Watching this chart, this is S&P testing the 20-day moving average right here, and you just know it's been a story of lower lows and lower highs for this chart as well. Last resistance at the 200 moving average on the daily. Right now, that chart, I think around 4 or 5% or so, 4 to 5% above where S&P 500 is right now. The 200, yes, like just over 4%. So 200 moving average resistance just above. So maybe there's a little upside for S&P, maybe there's a little upside for Bitcoin, but they're both testing and getting close to these resistance areas that we really have to be on the lookout. Now, here's the other thing. Inflation, CPI data. CPI data coming out. I want to just go draw our attention to this. This is a tweet by Trueflation. I did a video on this not too long ago. I'm going to put a link in the description. It's this app covering what they would say is the true inflation number. So Trueflation US today. This was September 10th. This was a couple of days ago. Inflation dropping, meaning the price increases are slowing down annually and might even decrease month over month. So this could be big. This could be on the long term really good for Bitcoin, for equity markets, for everything going on right now. Because we know that back here in March on Trueflation, and this is taking Oracle data to give us these numbers, you can see inflation, according to this data, topped out higher than what we're seeing the CPI data come in with over here, right? So let's just go to March. Here's 8.5% in March 2022. This is what we were told. And here's Trueflation data over here in March 2022, above 11%. So topping out there, and topping out actually months before this chart actually did top out so far in June. So this not only could be giving us better data in terms of real true inflation rates, but it could be a leading indicator. So what I mean by this is, look, it's actually coming down now. And you can go back to this CPI data chart in June of 2022 when it topped out at 9.1%. Let's go over here to June. in June 2022, you can see it's already begun coming down from the high in March. So this could be a leading indicator by a few months. And this is going to be interesting to continue tracking this. Right now, the number on the screen you see is 8.97%. So I want to immediately say CPI data is just also going to be coming down. But I'm just saying in the next few months, going into fall here, into winter, maybe we actually start seeing those numbers. Maybe things actually start becoming a little bit more bullish and the sentiment becoming a little bit more bullish. So these are all the things right now I'm watching for Bitcoin. I think this is just my approach. I know it doesn't make some people happy, but it's just kind of the be careful approach. It's obvious on the screen that we should be careful. There's a lot going on, and I don't think Bitcoin's out of the woods just yet. And so I'm just playing it cool, playing it steady, playing it patient. That's what has worked for me over the years. And so as I track this data and we continue to watch, we wait for confirmations. And for me, there's just been none yet. So here we are. We'll just sit here. We'll wait. And I hope this video is of some value to you. If it was, please hit the like button, hit that subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.